Baskin Robbins always finds out. Ant-Man, released in 2015 and is directed finally by Peyton Reed, who is also behind such movies like Yes Man, The Breakup, and Bring It On. And this movie is starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Corey Stoll, Bobby Cannavale, Michael Pena, T.I. Harris, Anthony Mackie, Wood Harris, Judy Greer, and Michael Douglas. Scott Lang is a mechanical engineer and former convict that has just been released from prison. So trying to find the means to get a job so that he can take care of his little girl, he takes a job in breaking into this house to steal something from a very secret vault in the basement. That something turns out to be the legendary Ant-Man suit. And when Scott tries it on, he gets shoved into a fantastical world that he did not expect. Because the Ant-Man suit makes you shrink to a tiny size of a little tiny ant. And he gets to control ants, and he gets to work with Hank Pym, who is the originator of the Ant-Man suit, but he's too old, and really, he's a very asshole-ish character in film and in comics, so we need to have the younger Ant-Man guy with a whole bunch of abs on his abdomen to do the things. In the MCU, this film was officially the end of Phase 2, and at that point in the MCU, it was kind of weird ending a phase on such a small, literally small character, because Phase 1 had ended with the Avengers, and Phase 2, we just had Avengers Age of Ultron that, even though the story itself was a bit of a mess, it was still a really big movie, did great at the box office. So how do you not end a phase with an Avengers film, and we're ending with Ant-Man? But it turns out that Ant-Man is so much better than Age of Ultron, and it's a good reason that Ant-Man was the end of Phase 2. I feel like it was just a nice little closure to that chapter, leading us into the Phase 3, which ended up being the Infinity chapter. I guess kind of the Civil War chapter, since everyone was kind of torn apart and doing their own thing. But I remember watching this movie for the first time in theaters, and while leaving, I had this sense of like, how did this movie about this small little tiny character, how did that beat Avengers Age of Ultron? Age of Ultron just really dropped the ball on this thing. This movie was actually a pretty damn good time. Was it anything special? Was it anything unique? Was it anything that we've seen before in any other action film, let alone superhero films before? No. I mean, we've seen this concept before of it's a little heist film going in, infiltrating and getting said thing, whatever the thing is that they're trying to get. We have a very, very bland villain who doesn't even rank anywhere close to the top 10 villains of the entire MCU, which is a shame because I think Corey Stoll is a great actor and he is a very commanding presence. He has a very evilness presence about him on screen, but he's also very vulnerable. He does manage to emit these very personal and private emotions in this character for the very small screen time that this character has. I'm sure he filmed a lot more. Actually, I think he said that in some interviews that he did shoot way more, but of course, Marvel, they're all about their heroes, and the villains kind of just get put to the wayside, so a lot of his stuff ended up on the cutting room floor. And Paul Rudd, I think, is a wonderful choice in this role. He's really a wonderful choice for the MCU. He is a breath of fresh air whenever a film that he is in comes on, or whenever he is shoved into an Avengers film. He's a breath of fresh air. He loosens the tension, which a lot of times is needed in some of these Marvel films. He's able to convey great comedic timing, like fantastic comedic timing. There are very few people professionally working as actors in this film who have better comedic timing than Paul Rudd. But like Corey Stoll, Paul Rudd also has these beautiful emotional moments that in this silly little tiny film stand out tremendously. He's a wonderful actor, Paul Rudd is, and he doesn't frickin' age. This man will look like this for the rest of time, and I don't understand it. Probably because he went to the quantum realm. And time works differently in the quantum realm. I also know that Paul Rudd had a lot to do with the screenplay and trying to rework this screenplay so that it fit into the MCU. Really, this film was originally going to be directed by Edgar Wright, who was absolutely loving this property, showed showed a little footage at a Comic-Con one year and everyone freaked out over it. It looks so cool. And a lot of those sequences you can see in this film. But Edgar Wright wanted to do his own thing. He had his own idea for Ant-Man, but, you know, Kevin Feige and Marvel, they wanted to do their own thing too and put it into their timeline. Edgar Wright didn't want to do it, so he bowed out, which is totally respectable. But you can tell there are Edgar Wright-isms in this movie. The whole retelling of the stories from Luis, that's all Edgar Wright. That is so Edgar Wright that I hope it stays. I know they did it like once in Ant-Man 2, but I hope it stays for Quantumania that's coming out this weekend. I really hope they do it because it is a staple of this movie and of that character Luis. Michael Pena is great in this movie too. He's great comedic timing, kind of playing into the stereotype of Latinos, but you know, it's still funny. It's still hilarious. Ant-Man was a big surprise for me. It's nothing close to being like the best Marvel movie ever, but just with all the production problems that this had, changing the directors, changing the script, kind of like weeks before production and filming started, the movie had a lot going against him. So to see the final product be something cohesive like this and something that's just fun. And I know that word gets thrown out there a lot when it comes to these superhero films and action films, like not everything needs to be fun and all hunky-dory, but you know what, sometimes it's nice to have that. And this character, Ant-Man, is really a family character in this setting. These Ant-Man films are very family-centric. I don't know if Quantumanium's gonna be that way. It doesn't look like it's gonna be that way, but I mean, I've been proven wrong before with Marvel. If they have the choice, they will always go to family-friendly and playing into the humor more than, say, a very serious and dark story. I'm gonna give Ant-Man 3.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I am above average.
So guys, if you've seen Ant-Man, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.